Pro Football Hall of Famer Mike Chiari at Mike Chiari featured columnist February 3, 2018 Bill Haber Associated Press prior to the NFL Honors Awards show Saturday in Minneapolis. The league announced the inductees for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2018. Among the 15 modern era finalists, 2 senior finalists and 1 contributor finalist, 8 inductees were chosen, with longtime Baltimore Ravens linebacker Ray Lewis and former Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Randy Moss leading the way. Controversial former San Francisco 49ers wide receiver Terrell Owens, former Chicago Bears linebacker Brian Urlacher and former Philadelphia Eagles safety Brian Dawkins were also chosen for enshrinement in Canton, Ohio, by a 48-person selection committee that voted on its choices Saturday. A pair of senior inductees in former Green Bay Packers guard Jerry Kramer and former Houston Oilers linebacker Robert Brazile will be enshrined, and former Miami Dolphins and Washington Redskins executive Bobby Beathard was chosen as a contributor. CNN's Jill Martin was among the first to provide a rundown of the class. Here is a closer look at the inductees to be honored in an August ceremony. Jack Dempsey Associated Press legendary Baltimore Ravens linebacker Ray Lewis gained induction in his first year of eligibility. He spent his entire 17-year career with the Ravens before retiring in 2012. The Miami Fla. Allen was a 13-time Pro Bowler, 7-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time Super Bowl champion and 1-time Super Bowl MVP. Lewis is part of a rare fraternity, as he went out on top by winning the Super Bowl in his final game, a 3,431 victory over the San Francisco 49ers in February 2013. In 228 regular season contests, Lewis registered 2,055 tackles, 41.5 sacks, 31 interceptions, 20 fumble recoveries and 19 forced fumbles. Pro Football Reference ranks him as the 9th best overall player and 3rd best defensive player in NFL history in terms of approximate value, as his 221 AV trails only Reggie White and Bruce Smith defensively. Ann Heisenfeld Associated Press wide receiver Randy Moss, one of the most explosive playmakers in NFL history, got in during his first year of eligibility. In 14 seasons, Moss played for the Minnesota Vikings, Oakland Raiders, New England Patriots, Tennessee Titans and San Francisco 49ers. He made 6 Pro Bowls and earned All-Pro first-team honors 4 times in addition to winning the 1998 Offensive Rookie of the Year. While Moss never won a Super Bowl, he played in the big game twice. Moss made 982 receptions for 15,292 yards and 156 touchdowns, ranking 15th, 4th and 2nd in those categories, respectively, on the all-time list. He topped 1,000 receiving yards in a season on 10 occasions, and while his prime years occurred in Minnesota, his best year came with the Pats in 2007. That season, Moss caught 98 passes for 1,493 yards and an NFL record 23 touchdowns. He's tied for 34th in career approximate value at 161, according to Pro Football Reference, and he is tied for 3rd among wide receivers with Marvin Harrison, behind only Jerry Rice and Terrell Owens. Paul Sakamar Associated Press. It took 3 tries, but controversial wide receiver Terrell Owens will take his place among football's immortals. T.O. enjoyed a 15-year NFL career with the San Francisco 49ers, Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, Buffalo Bills and Cincinnati Bengals. The 1996 third-round pick out of Tennessee Chattanooga was a 6-time Pro Bowler and 5-time first-team All-Pro. While some remember Owens for his antics, his on-field production was undeniable. He ranks 8th all-time in receptions 1,078, 2nd in receiving yards 15,934 and 3rd in receiving touchdowns 153. In his lone Super Bowl appearance, he returned from injury to register 9 receptions for 122 yards with Philadelphia in a 2,421 loss to the New England Patriots in February 2005. Owens finished with 1,000 or more receiving yards in 9 seasons, and he scored double-digit touchdowns 8 times. With an approximate value of 165, according to Pro Football Reference, Owens is tied for 28th among all players in NFL history and is 2nd among wideouts behind only Jerry Rice. Charles Rex Arbogast Associated Press. It only took Brian Urlacher 1 year on the ballot to gain Hall of Fame entry thanks to 13 stellar seasons at linebacker for the Chicago Bears. He made the Pro Bowl 8 times and was a 4-time first-team All-Pro. He was also the 2000 NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year and the 2005 NFL Defensive Player of the Year. The 2000 first-round pick out of New Mexico appeared in 182 games. He finished with 1,354 tackles, 41.5 sacks, 22 interceptions, 15 fumble recoveries and 11 forced fumbles. Urlacher played in one Super Bowl, which was a 2,917 loss to the Indianapolis Colts in February 2007. If not for Lewis, Urlacher would likely be regarded as the best middle linebacker of his generation, although he still achieved greatness. Pro Football Reference puts him in a tie for the 59th most valuable player in NFL history with approximate value of $150. Tom Mihalek Associated Press. On the heels of a productive 16-year NFL career, safety Brian Dawkins earned enshrinement in his second year of eligibility. He spent his first 13 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles before playing 3 years with the Denver Broncos. A 9-time Pro Bowler and 4-time first-team All-Pro, Dawkins stands as one of the best all-around safeties ever. His hard-hitting style is evidenced by his 1,131 career tackles, but he also contributed in other areas with 37 interceptions, 26 sacks, 36 forced fumbles and 19 fumble recoveries in 224 games. He participated in 8 postseason tournaments with the Eagles and played in the team's 2,421 Super Bowl 39 loss to the New England Patriots. In addition to his statistical production, Dawkins was an on-field leader and helped make the Eagles one of the NFL's most consistently successful teams for more than a decade. Pro Football Reference ranks him in a tie for 88th all-time in approximate value at 139, which trails only Rod Woodson, Ronnie Lott and Paul Krause among players who played an abundance of games at safety. Focus on Sport. Getty Images is one of the 2 senior committee nominees. Linebacker Robert Brazile became a Hall of Famer in his 29th year of eligibility. This year marked the first time Brazile had ever been named a Hoff finalist. He spent his entire 10-year NFL career with the Houston Oilers and was a 7-time Pro Bowler and 2-time first-team All-Pro. While tackles weren't tracked during his career and sacks didn't become an official stat until 1982, Brazile passed the eye test in terms of the massive impact he had on games from 1975 through 1984. He entered the league with high expectations as the No. 6 overall pick in the 1975 NFL Draft out of Jackson State, and he didn't disappoint, as he was named the 1975 Defensive Rookie of the Year. In 147 career contests, Brazile had 13 interceptions and 14 fumble recoveries. He also had 11.0 sacks, but those came in just his final 3 seasons when it was an official stat. Brazile also appeared in 7 playoff games, although the Oilers never reached the Super Bowl. Jonathan Daniel. Getty Images. Long considered one of the best players to never make the Hall of Fame, guard Jerry Kramer has finally seen his weight end. After 45 years of eligibility, Kramer is a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame as a Seniors Committee nominee. He was a finalist at various times in the 1970s, 1980s and 1990s. Kramer spent his entire 11-year NFL career with the Green Bay Packers, primarily as a right guard, although he also played a few seasons as Green Bay's kicker. In 1962, he even led the NFL with an 81.8 field goal percentage. Kramer was a 3-time Pro Bowler and a 5-time first-team All-Pro. He was an NFL champion on 5 occasions, and he went on to win both Super Bowl I and II with the Packers in 1967 and 1968. O&C. Shaw. Getty Images. Longtime NFL general manager Bobby Beathard gained admission via the Contributor Committee. He's best known for his time as the Miami Dolphins Director of Player Personnel and the Washington Redskins GM. After stints as a scout with the Kansas City Chiefs and Atlanta Falcons, Beathard took over as Miami's Director of Player Personnel in 1972, which is the same year it became the first and only team to finish with a perfect record. Beathard's squads won 2 Super Bowls in Miami. He then became Redskins general manager in 1978 and stayed in the role until 1989, winning 2 more Super Bowls. He became the San Diego Chargers GM in 1990 and stayed until 2000. In 1992, Beathard helped guide the Bolts to their first playoff appearance since 1982, and he constructed a roster that reached the Super Bowl in January 1995.